Hey guys, how's it going? So I've got a knife here that I made out of a file. I apologise about the lighting situation, but it's coming into winter here and it's quite dark in the house, and the lamp that I've got is not really all that flash, but I think you can see it, so you'll be alright. Right, so I've got a knife here that I made out of a file. I'm just going to do a talk through of the process, and I've got photos of the process. I did not film it though because it's quite a lot of extra work, and this is the first time that I made a knife the way that I have here. Alright, so I started off with an older file. So I started with the file, and then first I removed the handle, and then I went and I just had a look at the file, and it took me about 10 minutes or so to look at it and find the shape of the knife that I wanted. I find when I'm about to make a knife, whether it's out of a file or out of a piece of like saw blade or whatever, I look at the complete, like the piece of steel, and I'm able to see in my mind the outline of the knife. So I looked at it and I saw that, and then I just roughed out the shape on the bench grinder. I started off by making the choil, and working out which end was going to be the handle, which end was going to be the blade, and then I roughed out the shape of the blade, and then I just sort of like gave it a bit of a tidy up around the edges, and then I placed the blank. I placed it in a clamp which was on it. So I clamped it onto a piece of like 2x4, and then I clamped that in the vise. And then with my angle grinder I started to rough out the blade. When I was using the grinders, because files are real hard, I tried not to get it too hot so to ruin the hardness on it. So I had a container like with the water in it besides, so I was able to cool it down. And that's a real easy way if you don't want to have to reforge it, or if you don't want to have to re-harden it. So after I ground all that down, after I ground all the extra meat off the blade, which took quite a long time, I shaped out the swedges on it and everything as well. Basically got all my shape roughed out, then I sanded it on the sander, and I got all the handle the shape that I wanted it. That I took it inside and I put it in the oven on a rack on about 200. I set that in there for an hour and a half, and then I took it out and I cooled it down. Then I did it for another hour and a half, then I cooled it down, and then I put it back in for another half an hour, and that's how I did the temper on it. And it just came up to a nice orange colour, or not quite orange. So that's the tempering part that makes it soft enough that you're able to sharpen it. and it makes it a bit more pliable, so if you hit bone or a rock or something, you're not going to shatter your knife. Alright, so after that, after it cooled, I took it out. I gave it a wee bit of a rough up with sandpaper, but not much. And since I don't have a buffer at the moment, I decided that I was going to acid wash it. So I took a pot and I put cider vinegar in it. I brought that up to the boil. Then I sat the blade in there. Sat that in there for about half an hour, 40 minutes. And then I took it out. And then I gave it a bit of a rough up with sandpaper. And then I repeated. And it came out with quite a nice sort of like a design on it after I roughed it up with sandpaper. And I put the handle in for a short time as well, like just to put a bit of a coating on there so it's hopefully not going to rust as easy. Has got rust on at the moment because I was mucking around with it and then I put it in the sheath without oiling it. Alright, so after that, after it came out of the acid wash again, I gave it another rough up with the sandpaper, particularly on the blade, and then I got to sharpening it. And then I took the knife up to the saddler and I got him to make me a sheath. So I designed the sheath and everything for the shape that I wanted. And then after I got it back, I've done a wee bit of wet forming with it. I might do a wee bit more wet forming, but it doesn't really need it because it fits in there quite well. Sorry, just screwing up my lighting system. It sits in there pretty well, so I'm pretty happy with it. I'm probably going to darken up the leather a wee bit with a bit of nugget or something. So let me know if you like this sort of a rundown. I think a lot of you guys want me to film actually making knives and stuff, and it's something that I'm gonna have a go at, but it is a wee bit harder to do it. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you're interested in the knife itself, I think I'm reasonably keen to sell it, so if anyone's interested, just let me know. Alright, thanks for watching guys, we'll see you next time.